This show is brought to you by the Deluxe Edition Network. Head over to the den.show for other great podcasts.
Dropped a grumpy.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Deluxe Edition, the show where we love to dig deep in classic pop culture and talk about all kinds of crazy things. My name is Bill Siebold, here as always with Mr. Casey Shearer. How are you, sir?
Good, Bill. How are you, buddy?
Look at you in another location. You are traveling, you are always on the road, and you're still able to podcast. It's a beautiful thing.
Dude, I'm everywhere. I've been up and down the East Coast like you have not believe. You would not believe.
I wouldn't believe it. I believe it because I've known you for a while. You drive like crazy. Like you should be a truck driver. You probably make more money as a truck driver because I don't think they drive as much as you.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But a friend of mine said that he thinks I drive more than a UPS driver. I was like, fuck yeah, I do. They drive like around their neighborhood a couple times a day. I fucking drive all over the country.
Well, there you go. You could be a truck driver, a UPS driver, all that on the side. Just imagine how much bank you'd make. You'd be like, I got like 20 jobs. Drug mule. I'm out and about. I can do anything. No.
Anything. Hey, I know this is very unprofessional, Bill, but I need to take a break for 1 second. I'll be right back, all right?
Oh, dude. Nice shirt. Looks like a Walmart wolf shirt. Oh, shit! Who's that? Mr. Casey Shearer in my room! In my room! How?
Want to have a beer?
Yeah, man, let's crack a beer. Aren't we so fun? Aren't we so fun? Casey has come to Pennsylvania, so we figured today we absolutely have to get together and do something. So we're going to pause the production and try to put together a stage. A little mock stage so we can do this together. Very cool. Cool shit. We're full of surprises here. All right, so here we go. We're back,
buddy.
Magic editing. Look at it. Look, I got to sit up straight now, and I'm wearing a shirt that's way too big for me. Why do you make us put all this stuff on video?
This is the future.
This is the future?
Yes. So, the reason I brought you this beer here, so we run a network, a podcast network. Right?
I've heard. Yeah.
It's called The Den, the Deluxe Edition Network.
Uh-huh.
One of our network members called Take on the World did a review on a beer called Oozlefinch Smashmallow. And I've never wanted to taste a beer so bad in my life.
Why?
He said it tasted like fluff marshmallow.
Okay, I've had a sip.
So I stopped at Oozlefinch Brewery the other day, as Bill said earlier, that I travel for work all the time. And I just happened to be in Hampton, Virginia, where Oozlefinch Brewery is. And I walked in there and I said, I would like to have a 4-pack of your Smashmallow, please. And she said, we haven't brewed that in over a year.
Oh, wow.
So I talked to Mike yesterday from Take on the World, and he said they recorded that a year ago.
Remember your distance. We got to talk into a microphone. We're got to do things a little different. All right. So this is an old beer. This is a beer that hasn't been made in a year.
No.
All right.
They did not have Smashmallow.
At all. Okay.
She talked me into getting this. This
isn't Smashmallow?
This is called Youse Guys. And this is supposed to taste like orange creamsicle. You've already tasted it.
I've already had it, yeah. I've been drinking it while you've been talking.
What can you tell us about it?
Well, who recommended?
Take on the World.
Okay, well they have COVID because clearly they're. I'm kidding, guys. No, it's actually great. So it's I wouldn't say it tastes. I think it tastes like one of them vanilla Oreos if you ever had them. That's pretty good. It's almost like a dessert beer. Could you imagine like going to a party and pounding these? Oh. Like we're gonna get hammered on Youse Guys. Like you can have one of these and that's about it. That is a lot of flavor.
Yeah,
that's a dessert.
It is a dessert, but it's very good.
Do you smell that vanilla Oreo cookie? Do you know what I'm talking about? Those sandwich cookies that look just like Oreos, but they're not Oreos.
Yes.
Like every grocery store has a version. And you always wonder, Why the fuck doesn't Oreo sue them? They're totally stealing their cookie. And then I found out probably Oreo was making that.
Really?
Yeah, so it's really common for companies to make like a competitor of their own and sell it to grocery stores. You know, if you ever go down like the cereal aisle and you see, flaky frosts, and you're like, well, that looks a hell of a lot like Frosted Flakes. It's because it is. Well, I don't know for sure that is, but they'll take it, they'll sell it to a grocery store. The grocery store will put it up and be competition. So basically, they're making their money twice. They're making their money on their product and they're making their money on their competition.
That's crazy, dude. It's just like that. This beer is awesome, by the way. I'm not a beer drinker. Bill got us these fancy glasses so you can smell it as you taste it.
Pinky out.
Very good. Very tasty.
That's right. You got to breathe it in as you drink
New
it.
York style cheesecake. It tastes a lot like a orange creamsicle soda, though, don't you think?
Yeah,
Little bit?
I see. Yeah, I've had creamsicle drinks. There's a creamsicle drink my wife knows how to make. It tastes like a creamsicle.
Really?
You don't even taste the alcohol in it.
That could get ugly.
Oh, I was drunk for a week. Well, I'm glad we're talking about this because today, this is one of my shows. So what do I mean by one of my shows? So we sort of take turns producing shows. Like sometimes it's your idea, sometimes it's mine. I said, hey, I want to do one of our like random shows. We did a couple random shows very early on, and then we started to really theme them. And I'm like, I want to go back and just do a couple like shit that's been on my mind. And I want your opinion on these things that have been on my mind. So I got a list of topics here. I don't know what we're going to call this show yet. The multi-topic show. But if this is a hit, maybe we can go back to doing more of these. So it's really, there's a bunch of things I don't even know where to start. I'll start with this. I went to a convention. We were talking about conventions. You've been going to all these conventions. I finally went to a convention.
Stop.
Okay. Just got started.
I've been meaning...
I already screwed up.
Since we have been talking about these conventions, I've been meaning to ask you this. Do you say convention so people don't know that you're going to a Comic-Con?
Why do you think con isn't short for convention?
I know that it's short for convention. I know that.
Do you think, people don't say convention?
No.
Oh, you're calling me out for calling these things conventions? Oh, okay. Well,
like, do you want people to think that you're going to like a business type convention and not a place where people are trying to sell their wares and fucking merchandise and autographs?
I see what you're saying. I don't know. I go to conventions for work, so I guess I'm calling those things conventions. And I never dawned on me that Comic-Con, nobody knows that con is a convention. So me calling, okay, I'm showing my age. Anyway, I was excited. I finally went to mine. You've been to a few, and I don't really get to go very often. So I went to one, and I wanted to tell you my stories about it. One of the weirdest things is walking. Since we've been doing this show, right? We've made some famous friends. Like, we actually have famous friends. Like, I get texts, and I'm like, you got more than I got, for sure. But it's like, when I get one, it's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, whoa. Like, it fucking floors me. But it is so cool. So now I'm going to these conventions. I'm like, I'm Bill from Deluxe Edition. Like, I matter now, right? I don't know. But I get all like, how do I market? Because I'm shy. Like, walking up to strangers and just saying shit is really hard. So, but I said, today I'm going to do it. I'm going to hand out the business cards like Casey does. And guess what? I go there and I got no business cards. I got nothing. I'm like, what happened to our stickers? I couldn't find them. I'm like, okay, I got to go rogue. So now I have more awkwardness as I talk to these celebrities and try to say, hey, would you like to be on our show? Or, hey, we've talked before here and here. Or like Laura Park Lincoln, we've talked to a couple times. She was on, she was in the movie that you were part of.
Yeah.
You played Jason.
Yeah.
She was in Friday the 13th Part 7 and Roseblood, the unofficial sequel. She was also in Knots Landing, a lot of stuff. So, like, we know her. I talked to her. Dude, I walked right up to her. I'm back to being like a fan. Like, I'm back to being like super awkward and shy. And she's trying so hard to pull me out and like continue the conversation. We're just talking about business and behind the scenes stuff. And I'm just like, God, I suck at this. Like, I'm still super awkward, but I love making friends with these guys. Like, I almost don't want to go to these things because I have to talk to people, but I want to go to these things because I want to make friends with these guys. Because once you talk to them on our show and sort of talk to them about stuff behind the scenes that we can't share, like when you got to be loyal to them. But there's so much great shit. There's so much great shit when you can finally get a conversation going with these actors. And I was so excited to finally do it at a con.
I have the same exact experience when I go to those things. Like, we put on a good show here. Bill and I are both like, well, I don't know. I'm a very nervous, and Bill just said it himself. You get nervous around these people. Like, we watch them all these years, and then we talk to them. Like, I'm usually nervous as hell when we're talking to these guests on screen. I mean, people have said that it doesn't come off like that, but I want to let you know right now, I'm very nervous during these conversations that we have, even though they're on Zoom, you know? So then I went to a Comic-Con also in Tallahassee, or in Pensacola, to meet Mark Singer.
Right.
And
who we've had on.
Who we've had on the show twice, and who I have personally been in contact with every couple weeks for the last few months. And I get up there and I'm like my money all falls out of my wallet. I'm like shaking. And I was like, "Hi, Mark. We had you on Deluxe Edition." Sure.
Right.
Like, he was in con mode, you know? He was like, just going through the motions at that moment. You know?
Did he recognize you? I mean,
didn't recognize me.
I mean, it is possible to look different on screen than in person. I see this happen all the time.
Right.
I'm like, wow, you don't really look like I thought. So he didn't recognize you?
Recognize me.
Oh. And
I made a bet with my nephew, Andy. I was like, dude, we're going to be hanging out with Mark, going to dinner with him, this and that. And we get up there. He's like, what happened? He's 14 and he's calling me out with this shit. So I emailed Mark and I was like, I sent him, because then I got a photo with him then. And dude, one thing I want to tell you about Mark real quick. He's a big dude. I didn't realize he's as big as I am.
Really?
Yeah. And like a really fucking solid, firm handshake. Like, he's 74, but like, he is still the Beastmaster, dude.
Wow,
like,
that's cool.
I could not believe how big he was. Like, not fat, but like in good shape and tall, you know? So I sent him a picture, an email of the two of us together. And I was like, hey, it was really good to meet you finally, you know? He writes back, why didn't you grab me and say, I'm Casey Shearer from Deluxe Edition? I was like, because I'm a pussy. I was scared.
Yeah. I get it. Like, we said on the last episode, I saw Joe Bob and Darcy, and I just, what did I say to them? I said, I'm awkward. I'm walking away. This is awful. I was talking to, all right, telling tales out of school. I was talking to, all right, whatever. So I went up to Biling. Okay. And I do photography. I do a lot of things. I do music. I do photography. And I went up to her and I was like, okay, I would like to hire for a photo shoot. Hi, a photographer, do for your pictures of baby. She looked at me and went, what? And I said, and she has an accent too. And it was loud, so I had trouble hearing her. So she's trying to say something to me, and I'm going back to like, well, I photo pictures I take. And she's like, well, because I couldn't hear through the noise. And I'm like, we are just talking gibberish at each other. And then finally she's like, yeah, you can take my picture if you pay me. And I was like, I'm so awkward and embarrassed now. I'm just walking away. Good luck, bye. Yeah. You don't need me. I needed you and I blew it.
Yeah, you see right here, it's $40 for a selfie.
Maybe that's what she thought I was saying. Can I take a picture of her right now? Holy shit. So when I walked away all awkward, she must have been like, what the fuck is it?
Why didn't he give me any money?
No, I was talking about like doing an actual photo shoot when I'm out in LA. Holy shit, I never realized that's probably what she thought. No wonder it's so fucking awkward.
Bill.
Oh,
what are we going to do?
She'll never be a guest on our show. All right, so another topic. We'll switch topics. We're going to move on. You got something to say?
Speaking of Darcy, one more time. Our giveaway that we had, it was the Elvira keychain, the t-shirt, and the Darcy action figure. Nobody won. Not one person. Dude, I'm not.
This is the third time we've done
Darcy. Darcy actually retweeted the tweet for us. And we had, I think, 39 submissions of the bracket, which was more than any other bracket that we've ever done. Not one person had an identical bracket.
Well, 39's not that high.
But, I mean, still, you would think at least one person would get... There were a lot of people that picked the final. The final winner was Guardians of the Galaxy, best soundtrack of all time.
Bullshit.
As voted by Deluxe Edition fans.
Fine. I'll accept it. Grudgingly.
But, Yeah, still there. A lot of people did pick the final winner. Maybe we should think of something that we could do for that. Those people have a chance to win.
I think we got to find another avenue. Facebook it's just hard I post shit all the time, and I'm like, I don't think anybody saw this. And you look at like impressions when you can get it from Facebook and Instagram. It's like, yeah, it's true. Nobody saw this. I can't stand these social networks.
Some of our stuff's getting a lot of good feedback.
All right.
So come join our Facebook group. Find out how you can win the Darcy action figure, Elvira keychain, Deluxe Edition T-shirt, and I'll probably be adding in. I was thinking, since we had John Snyder and the Dukes of Hazzard on, I have a brand new unopened container of SIBO D tincture from John Schneider.
SIBO D, I like it. All right.
So I'll throw that in. If nobody ever wins this, we'll just keep adding stuff to the package. So
Somebody's gonna get a big package.
yeah, and then we still have the other big giveaway. That's between Mike Ortiz and Deb Doherty. We'll have a quiz with you and Scott Schwartz sometime in the month of May.
All right.
And I was thinking we'll let Scott pick who he wants to play for.
He's a celebrity. He can. Yeah. Oh, he wants to play for us.
Right.
Okay.
Because you'll be playing for one of the contestants, and Scott will be playing for one of the contestants.
I always like when they do this on game shows, and the celebrities play for money for somebody else. You know, they're like, fuck this. I don't want to play for money for somebody else. I want this money. I'm playing for mine. This should go to me. Okay, I like that. That sounds fun.
Yeah, but yeah, that'll be fun because we have a little more to talk to Scott about too. He's filming, or they're filming Christmas Story 2. The official sequel to the original Christmas Story. So,
do you think his tongue gets stuck on a pole again? Do you think they go back to that?
It has to,
right? We all want to see it.
they can't not do that.
That's great. All right, so we're gonna move on to another segment I call mail. I call it mail.
Okay,
I actually got some mail. Believe it or not, it came in a fucking envelope and a stamp. No, I'm kidding. Please go to deluxeedition.show and you can find an email and send us some mail. Be involved. So this question, Casey, it said, you've had guests on the show. Who were some guests that you couldn't get on the show? And we've talked about
everyone that you want us to interview.
We've talked about, should we talk about some of the bad experiences? So this segment, Casey, is how candid do we get talking about the bad experiences? And maybe we should call this the Burning Bridges segment. No, we don't want to do that. We've kidded about it on the past. We've mentioned a few.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Victor Miller. It was a hashtag we got trending in our minds. He no-showed, right? Victor Miller from Friday the 13th, the writer of Friday the 13th.
He's in his 80s.
I don't care.
You have something scheduled. You're supposed to do it.
I spent the whole fucking day looking up Victor Miller shit, learning about Victor Miller so I could do a good interview. And then all of a sudden it's like we're on the line and there ain't no Victor Miller. And did that happen again with Sean Kanan? Yeah.
Karate Kid.
Yeah, Karate Kid 3, right? Or 4. Like, which one was that? Was he the Ralph Macchio one?
Yeah, he was still in number 3. He was the bad guy for Terry. Remember Terry? Who was the bad guy in the third one?
The guy with the ponytail.
Yeah.
I don't know. I heard that guy with the ponytail was on Cobra Kai. I stopped watching it.
Yeah, he was in the new season.
Was he?
I didn't see it. But
what about our guy Sean?
Not yet.
Well, see, Sean? You put bad out there and you blow off podcasts, it comes back to haunt you.
Who else?
We've had some say, look, I can't knock him for this. Some say, sure, I'll be on your show for money.
Yeah.
We're not making money, so
right.
we sort of avoid those.
Right. Yeah, we've never paid a guest. Like, we've had guests on, Tommy Chong. Like, no one has ever asked us for money, so we're not, I mean, it's just not something we're will. I wanted to give Alex Vincent money one time. He was the kid he was the original child from Chucky.
Yeah, I saw him at the con. I tried to talk to him. I got a story about him.
He said he would do it for $250, I think. And I said, I'll give you $150, and we never heard from him again.
You negotiated with him. Oh my God.
I really like Child's Play.
I literally talked to him at the show the other day, and it was just another awkward conversation. And I didn't even try to ask him on the show because, I just go in. I go in for the talk. I don't know how to do it. I have no game. I was terrible at dating. I have no game. I just walk up. I'm like, hey, we emailed about this once before. Uh-huh. Like, why would I think he would remember that? Like,
Yeah, it's $40 for a selfie.
oh man. All right. Well, I've
emailed Matthew McConaughey, Tom Cruise. Like we have everyone's contact info. I will email anyone.
Yeah.
The worst they could say is no.
I've had so you do it more than I do. I've had a couple close calls. I was like pretty close to getting in with. I don't want to say it because who the fuck is Lee? What am I saying? So like almost. No. I can't say it. I can't say it because I have opened the door to some relationships that maybe I can play down the line. But yeah, I get it. There's so many podcasts. I mean, they're getting called nonstop. Yeah. One of the guys that I tried to get on, I'll talk about this guy. So I love Steve Vai, guitar player from the 80s, just one of the best guitar players out there. And I've seen him doing shitty podcasts. And I'm like, God, these guys don't know what they asked him. So I called and I tried to get Steve Vai, and his manager basically wrote back and he was like, well, what are your stats? And I'm like, these are the best stats I can give you because this is the Wild West. Nobody really knows their stats. And he's like, well, yes, Steve's at a point of his promo tour where he really doesn't have time to do any more of these unless you have, blockbuster numbers. Yeah. So that's going to kill us. Right. These artists can only do so many of these.
That's the biggest thing. Like we've had a lot of people respond. They all respond back mostly. And the biggest question is they want to know how many followers you have. And it's, we're on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Like there's multiple different platforms of podcasts that people listen to podcasts on. It's really hard to get a number, but like right now we're sitting across all platforms at like 10,000 followers, I'd say. Yeah, so like you think that's for like, we have less than 100 episodes of our show. Like that's a pretty decent number to me, Yeah. And then like when you get an email back and they say, well, how many followers do you have? And you say 10,000. Well, we're going to regretfully decline at this time. It's like, well, we've seen him on other shows that have a lot less followers than we do.
And are poor productions. Right. One of the guests that I did, never let the truth get in the way of a good story. Maybe I had a couple good conversations at that con. And one was with one of the guests who said, we're just hit all the time for these podcasts. And I go and I look at them, I'm like, it's just some show that somebody's doing in their basement. They're not trying to get better, or they're just not good enough to get better. Right. So, yeah, the celebrities are looking at that. And they're I think they're really looking at the quality of the podcast and taking a look at, past episodes. Like we try now, we're like, let's make sure our thumbnails look good. Make sure everything that when they go, it looks appealing. Right. There's so much marketing. Yeah. That we do. And honestly, not a lot of it pays off. Nah. Marketing is my industry. That's how I make all my money. And I know that conversion rates are really low, but it's like, wow, I thought going into this, we'd be able to get moving pretty fast. Remember I said it took about a year. Well, now I'm saying it's probably going to take about 5 years until this flywheel starts going, just because I now have a better understanding of the landscape and all our competition.
Well, I would like to thank all of our listeners in New Zealand.
We're huge in New Zealand.
We're in the top 150 constantly in New Zealand for podcasts. So
we love New Zealand.
We love you, New Zealand. Thank you.
Flight of the Conchords was one of the best shows ever.
Is that from New Zealand?
Yeah.
Yeah? I've never seen it.
Oh, you haven't? No. It's fantastic. Who's the guy? We've talked about it before. He's huge right now. Taika Waititi.
Yes.
Taika Waititi. Yeah. Takiti. I don't think I've ever said his name out loud. He's from New Zealand. He worked on that show. He's got a really unique sense of humor, but New Zealand is small. So it's like, he's like the main export now coming out of New Zealand. Yeah, so like you think that New Zealand is everything that this guy is.
He did Reservation Dogs that I was trying to get you into.
Guy's busy.
Yeah.
And funny.
Very cool.
Anyway, going back to it though, how many, can you think of any other celebrities without trash talking too much?
Well, I can tell you, I went to a convention and, I asked personally Giancarlo Esposito, how do we get you on our podcast? And he basically rolled his eyes at me. Like, he's a dude, though, I would imagine doesn't have time to do podcasts. Yeah. He's like very hot right now and is constantly working. So.
I don't even know why he's going to I mean, at these conventions. Yeah. He was in The Mandalorian. He's in Breaking Bad. He's in The Boys, which is one of my favorite superhero shows.
Yeah, that show's great.
He doesn't have to be doing conventions, and he's doing them. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm trying to think of who else. There's been a lot. Like we've tried different angles. Like we emailed Matthew McConaughey. You remember that? And I was like, would you like? We would like to talk to Matthew McConaughey about Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. Is that what?
No. The beginning. It was called Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was the prequel. It was like the first generation or something. Yeah, it was like the worst movie ever. It's so bad. We just want to talk to him about that. He didn't bite. I thought I did it too with Johnny Depp. I'm like, now Johnny Depp's in the news and I could never touch him. But I was like, we would like to speak to Johnny Depp only about Nightmare on Elm Street. Because in my head, he might go, that's fucking crazy. I got to do this. It didn't work.
But what is cool is, for the most part, they will email us back. And they'll at least say, how many followers do you have? No, we're regretfully declining at this time. You know, circle back around in the future. Yeah. You know, a lot of them do say, a lot of them do respond, which is, you know, they don't have to do that. You know, no. So that's at least cool.
Yeah, I guess. I'd love to have a lot more guests, but it's hard.
Yeah, we've actually I was just talking with somebody about that the other day. We've kind of hit a wall with getting guests. Like the John Snyder thing was supposed to happen a long time ago, and family issues happened, so that's why we had to reschedule that. And I did it by myself, but. Yeah, we've been having a hard time getting guests lately. Yeah. Maybe you know what I was thinking about this earlier. It might really actually be because of COVID. We started this podcast at the very beginning of COVID. Hollywood shut down. A lot of people weren't working during that time, so like they had a little extra time and to do things. Now everybody's starting to get back to normal and working again. And maybe they just don't have the time for it anymore.
Never thought of that. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we might have been seeing a boon of like celebrity interviews. Meanwhile, they're just like, we need work and we have nothing else to do, so we got to keep our names out there. We'll do these interviews.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That might make sense. Sometimes you make sense. Sometimes. I know there's more. There's been a few where, because I'm the one who loses his temper. What the fuck? How are we supposed to wait for this motherfucker to God damn it? Did you call him? Are you sure that he said he'll do it? I do not want to do this research. I don't even like this actor. No, that's never happened. We've never had anybody on.
Yeah, we don't talk to people that we don't want to talk to or that we don't enjoy. Do you remember Burt Ward?
Yeah.
So I don't think we've ever told this story on air, but so Burt Ward, we were supposed to interview at noon, and we're waiting. And it was like 12:30. Bill and I are just shooting the shit, and we're like, all right. Let's just bag it. Fucking hopefully reschedule. Right at 12:30, the fucking camera comes on. Remember? And Bert is eating lunch. Sorry, guys. I thought this was at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
So we had to sit and watch Bert finish lunch before the interview started.
Wow, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, because I was pissed. I was like, fuck him. Fuck Burt Ward. Fuck. And then, doop. Hey, guys. Oh, hey, Bert. It's great to have you. I felt so stupid. I felt so bad.
Yeah, sometimes, especially with the time difference, you know, things do sometimes get confusing. You know, so.
Here's one I'm thinking of. Yeah, all right. The last one I think that blew us off, that I don't think I'll ever be on the show, so I'll say it. Remember, we were all excited for Weekend at Bernie's, that guy, Terry Kaiser. Like, we met him a couple times, had great conversations. He just didn't show. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know if that's his fault. I don't know if it's his people's fault. Who knows? But it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I honestly don't think it's Terry's fault.
Yeah.
I don't want to mention that guy, but I just think that, yeah.
Yeah, some of the guys representing these actors aren't really, you know, professionals.
Right.
You know? Yeah. It's either this or work at a Pizza Hut for these guys.
Basically. Yeah. It's like somehow they managed to talk their way into being their manager or handler or whatever, and I don't know. I mean, I could probably do a better job for them. So
the goal, my goal, you know, was to really dig into the industry, because I've always been an outsider, fascinated. I still want to get into it somehow. Kind of are. Hey, we kind of made it in Hollywood a little bit. Well, with the movie, I guess that's for another time. But it's like learning about the behind the scenes stuff is just fascinating, and to realize that you see these celebrities and you just think they're the biggest people in the world. They're just gods to young people like me when I was young. Now you're like, man, they were probably really broke during these few years. Like they were probably really scared about, their career. And Johnny Depp, the shit that's going on right now, I'm addicted to it because I love learning the behind the scenes stuff. When they introduce people, they had one guy, they're like, who are you? He's like, I'm a talent agent. Well, what does a talent agent do? It was what the lawyer asked. And the guy's like, we represent talent. All right. Because that's how these things go. Like, all right, yeah, dude, just give her the answer she wants. Stop wasting time. But finally, like it pulls out. It's like, oh, so that's what a talent agent does. I'm learning a shit ton
from the trial.
This trial, yeah.
Yeah, we should save that for another episode because I want to get into the Johnny Depp trial.
Oh, it's the best.
Let's save a complete episode for that.
All right. Yeah, but I got an idea. If nobody wins the next game, as an added prize, Casey Shearer fecal matter.
Was human fecal matter.
Seeing Johnny Depp say fecal matter was very, very enjoyable. I enjoyed that. Or saying taking a grumpy.
Dropped a grumpy.
I enjoyed that too. It's only some of the great things this show has in store for us. It's the best reality TV out there.
You will not be getting any of my fecal matter.
Unless you ask really nice. He's done it before. He'll do it again. All right, so we'll move on to another topic. This is the one that made me think about having a multi-topic show because I was like, this isn't enough for a show, but it maybe will be. Maybe it'll turn into a conversation. I watched the new Batman movie.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
I have.
What are your thoughts?
It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
It went to the movie theater, right? And I've been thinking a lot about the future of theaters. Actually, one of the things I do, I'm a photographer. I'm a musician. Did you know I was a writer? I'm a writer.
I did.
And I wrote an article on it. I wrote an article about Batman and the future of cinema because as I'm watching this movie, I'm like, this is the kind of thing that's going to keep people in movie theaters. And this isn't very good. I thought it was a fine Batman movie. Kid did a great job, except when he was Bruce Wayne. He was emo Bruce Wayne, whatever that was about. The cinematography on it was just stunning. Like it was like they really spent some time on it. But the movie, I already forget what happened. I don't even remember how it ended. How the fuck are people going to want to go to the movie theaters if movies can't be better? So I have this thought that as streaming gets bigger, Hollywood's going to have to figure out, we need to bring people to a theater. Well, what do they want in the theater that they can't get at home? It's got to be some bigger experience. Like they say movies are made for the theater. This Northman that just came out.
Yeah.
It's made for the theater. Yeah, I told you in this article, it's going to be a bomb. Am I, Nostradamus? No. I know that people don't go to see this shit. It costs $90 million to make. How in the fuck did they think, based on all the other movies that don't succeed in the theater, that this was going to make money? It's those kind of, and I think it's a great movie. I've heard it's a great movie, but it's just not a movie that like people want to get up and go to the theater for. So it makes me think that the future of Hollywood, if it survives to keep on making things that are theater ready, because it makes Hollywood a lot more money to send it to the theater than it does to send it to streaming, they're really going to have to say, you know what? It's time to let the artists be artists. It's time to start backing out and stop being involved and let these guys really make the shit that can drive people to the theaters. Because we're intervening too much, and we now, in this case, it's the producers and all the money people. We're throwing these movies off course. Every single one of my favorite movies has had some sort of issue. Well, COVID usually, but a problem where a producer was like, "We're not okay with this, or we're not okay with that," and then the filmmaker was like, "My movie didn't come out the way I wanted." The fucking Morbius movie,
Yeah.
Rather. Like
I've never even seen a commercial for it, but I saw a poster for it the other day.
They were so sure because it's a Spider-Man villain, it's just going to sell. The movie was dog shit. Even the director's on there going like, "Yeah, this ain't my vision." Like this has to change. Like you either got to let the artist get full control to make a product that is so good. Oh, and another thing, half the time these fucking movies are rushed because they're like, we have a deadline, and as you're building, you realize we're coming up to this deadline, and the companies don't move the deadlines. Disney will not move a movie back a couple months to finish it because in their case, they have other things planned, right, and it'll fuck everything up. But I don't understand why other movies can't do that. Like, why did the Batman? Well, Batman was pretty good. I can't think of any problems, but most movies have big plot holes. Star Wars had big plot holes. Take your time, finish it, put out the product that's great.
Yeah,
that's going to make this movie do better. It's going to make the next movies do better. But they put these things out with plot holes, and people go, That was good, but it was, I don't know. I don't want to go to the movie theater just to see big CGI. I want to see great movies.
Right. Do you think it's because there is so much content out there that they're just trying to pump out as much shit as fast as they can to compete with everything else that's going on?
No, I think
like everyone's trying to pump out shit so fast that they're all doing the same thing, and in the end, just getting dog shit.
They're in the lead. Hollywood studios are in the lead. Like, they have the chance to adjust, really adapt, to use buzzwords, pivot, right?
Yeah.
Because the world is pivoting, and I just don't see them making that move yet. I see them kind of stumbling. Like, all the stuff you hear about them, we fucked up with the Black Widow. Maybe we should have put it here, but they still can't figure out the right thing. And I'm just like, all right, I don't work in Hollywood. I don't understand. I never want to go to a movie theater again. Yeah. I know there's a lot of people that never want to go to a movie theater again. It's noisy, it's frustrating, it's loud. They got rid of ushers. I don't know. Did they have ushers in any theater? I'll go to that theater where the guy would come down and go, you shut the fuck up. They don't have that. You know where people shut the fuck up? In my basement.
Well,
where I watch my movies.
Are you going to finish this?
Yeah, I'll finish it.
What I have to say about that, Bill, is you're going to the wrong theaters.
Where am I going? What theaters do you go to?
I travel the country, as we know. We've talked about this before. You're going not to the wrong theaters. You're going at the wrong time. You have to go during the day.
Oh.
There's not one thing. You will not be bothered by a loud crowd. Mm. It'll change your thoughts. You'll be the only one. I've been in theaters.
How long have you been going to theaters that you've been going during the day?
6 years.
And it's always been the time to go.
Always.
All right.
I am one of the only people in the theater at all times.
Weekdays, not weekends. Weekends, I'll go on an afternoon.
Weekdays, yeah. If you can find time to go during the week by yourself or with your wife, that is the time to go. It's like you and another person that doesn't want to be bothered by people.
All right.
And you sit very far away from each other.
Good to know. Good to know. Hold on a minute. Do you hear the sound my dogs make? Yeah. You witnessed this on the podcast the other day. Now you hear it in person. It is. I don't know if this mic is picking it up. It is an unholy sound. Isn't it the strangest sound from two little schnauzers?
Are they fighting?
Oh, you can look over the corner. They are just playing. Like, literally, the one dog rips the other dog's leg off, and the other one's like, let's keep wrestling. It's like, wow, I don't know how you guys aren't hurting each other. It looks awful. Anyway, going back to it. Yeah, I don't, like, I'm kind of concerned because you see all these blockbuster movies that I love. I love the Hollywood movies, right? The 89 Batman, that big movie. You see them on Netflix now. The Atom Project was probably, if there was no Netflix, there was no streaming, that thing would have been a movie we would go see because it would be advertised like hell. It would be one of the big things you have to see that summer. And now it's on Netflix. And did people see it? How many people, listening really heard of it? It's a Ryan Reynolds movie, and it's pretty good. It's fun.
Yeah, I've never heard of it till right now.
There's another one called, I don't know, it had Chris Pratt in it from Guardians of the Galaxy. It was some sort of time jumping movie. It was a pretty cool premise. It was supposed to be last year's or the year before's big summer blockbuster. And they're like, well, it's COVID. I guess we just put this thing on streaming, and people weren't that into it. But I guarantee that would have been a hit. Tomorrow Man or something. I can't remember. It was forgettable. But it is, most fucking Hollywood blockbusters are forgettable.
Yeah.
So my point is they're going to have to figure out a way to really pull people into theaters. The Northman, it's an artsy film. That guy who makes those movies, he's made The Witch. He's made the Lighthouse that I talk a lot about that I love. It's too artsy for the crowds that want to go to a theater. I don't need to see these artsy spoken pieces in a theater. Show me something in a theater that I can't get at home in peace. I don't know. I'm worried. I'm worried that I don't want to go to the theaters, but I'm worried that if theaters go, studios are just going to be like, fuck it. We'll just throw dog shit out. It's just going to go to streaming anyway. Netflix will buy any goddamn thing. And then the quality goes down. The other side is it opens up the world for, independent movie makers who used to be, independent people still had to go out and drum up budget.
Right.
Now it's cheaper to make movies and there's a lot more distribution. So it's better for the independent guy.
And a lot of those old independent movies are the ones that we love the most, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't had a lot of beer in a while, so I'm I'm feeling that beer. It's
Get
really good
out of
beer.
here! You
Yeah, I am.
drank one goblet of beer in your hand.
One beer queer.
I
And
get that.
well, I smoke weed all the time too. But like I know I like a lot of old independent movies. Like what? The Hills Have Eyes. Like that didn't have that couldn't have had a fucking Hollywood production behind it.
Right.
The
That
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
That didn't have a fucking Hollywood production behind it.
You're right. We don't think that though.
Right.
Like you say that and you're like, oh yeah, obviously it didn't, but we don't think that as moviegoers. We think it's, there's 5,000 people involved.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. Those were indie movies.
Yeah.
That got a wide release and turned into what seems like commercial movies.
And what they call cult classic now.
Yeah. Well, anything that people like that nobody's heard of, I guess, is a cult classic. I hear they call these movies, they're like, Big Top Pee-wee, the cult classic. I'm like, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure Big Top Pee-wee doesn't, yeah. I don't know. It's been driving me nuts because the Batman could be great. I love these Marvel movies, and they're putting them all on TV now. And then they had I know you're not a big fan of Marvel, but they had this other Chang-Chi. I forget, it was a karate movie. Like, it's so forgettable. I can't even remember the name of the character. And, at the end of the movie, just like all these movies, there's some big thing that's going to destroy the world. And if it's not up to Shang-Chi I got his name wrong. That sucks. But whatever he is, like, he's got to save the world, right? The Eternals, they save the world. Enough world saving.
Right.
It's too fucking big.
Yeah.
It's so big that you make shitty movies. It's too big. Give me a good movie. But again, I don't even know what they can do to bring me into the theater. It's got to be something like Endgame. Again, you don't care for the Marvel stuff, but the Avengers series, that was a journey. That was an investment of time. That was so much stuff as a fan. I get it. Let's go to the theater and see that. Because it was that big. It was that big. No movie has ever been that big in my mind. Maybe since like Lord of the Rings. Big movies. There's a case to go to the theater.
I go back to bring back the 90-minute movie. Batman, just way too long. I mean, like you said, I don't remember how it ended either.
Yeah, I'm trying desperately to
I remember the Joker, like they showed like the weird Joker at the end.
Yeah.
Right. But other than that, I don't really remember much of the movie.
Which felt like I was crowbarred in to be like, well, we better go one more of those.
Right.
But it was a good movie. It was fine. But I don't know. I would be upset to go to the theater now and see that.
Yeah.
I want to see that on streaming. It was a streaming version, a quality movie in my mind.
So you watched that here? Mm-hmm. See, I saw it in the theater.
Sucker.
Yeah.
No,
but I agree with you though. Good. He did a good Batman, but the Bruce Wayne. I mean, when was Bruce Wayne ever an emo? Like he's always been a rich, like,
Yeah, played that one wrong for sure.
Yeah.
There was one moment where he started to show his human side. He was talking to Alfred. I like that. But yeah. I mean, I read a lot about the directors that's going, I lost control of the movie. We're talking about a few different things here. We're talking about like losing control of the movie. We're talking about the theater experience. It all really is the same to me. You got to give the movie maker complete control and slow down these deadlines and let them have the budget that you promised to do what they need to do. And if you want to cap off their budget, that's one thing. But when you cut off you give them like 6 months to make a movie, or even if you give them 2 years, if they need 3 to make a proper product, give them 3.
Yeah.
What's the big fucking rush? You guys have so many movies coming out.
Yeah.
It's just like if you keep on getting shitty Big Macs, you stop going to McDonald's.
Right.
And they don't see that this is what's happening.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you have any thoughts about the new Top Gun coming out?
I wasn't really that big of a Top Gun kid. I wasn't that big of a fan of the soundtrack apparently either. Yeah, I don't know. That one, I'm not that into that. I remember the Top Gun Nintendo video game more than I remember the movie.
Okay.
But like, that's a great example. What the fuck is going on with that movie?
Right.
Like, are they not sure that it's theater worthy? Are they trying to, did they delay it? Are they putting more money into it? What are they doing?
Well, yeah, that's why I brought it up. I'm wondering, because that is a movie that they've pushed now. They've pushed the opening so many times. Is it because they're trying to make it better?
Yeah.
Or is it because, who knows?
Yeah.
Why? Or because of COVID?
I mean, that trailer didn't make me want to see it. It's like, oh, look, the Tom Cruise character is still alive. Big deal. Is there a story?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, man. So it just got me a little frustrated because I'm seeing just wastes of time. I don't have time to waste on bad movies. I don't. So we'll see. I love movies. I love Hollywood, but I don't know where it's going. I know we said it before, and maybe we said it off air. Like, will there be a George Clooney in 10 years? Will there be a Julia Roberts? Like, will there be that name that's just so premier?
Yeah.
If there's not movie theaters, right? If there's not these few opportunities for the masses to go and see these people, right? Excuse me, because now there's massive opportunities for many people to see many people. What happens to the movie star?
Right.
Could there be one, or will there be many? Right. So if there's right now, there's like 10 or 15 huge names. Will there be 10 or 15 huge names in 10 years?
It's just, to me, I think there's a lot more than that. Like, there's so many celebrities right now. Instagram and Twitter, it's just, there's people that are celebrities that we don't even know are celebrities. They're not in our world. You know what I mean? Like, there are a lot of famous people that we've never even heard of. That's how many there are.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, when we were kids, like I remember.
Yeah, remember you see that new Brad Pitt movie?
Yeah. When Kurt Cobain died, and I said to my mom, "Yo, did you hear Kurt Cobain of Nirvana died?" She goes, "Yeah, I read that." Like she wouldn't.
Right.
Yeah, I mean the bands now. Hey, did you hear so and so from Fall Out Boy died? She go,
right.
What's a Fall Out Boy? Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, I mean that's how it's getting very.
Yeah, because there's people on Instagram, like Instagram models and shit, that have millions of followers. That if you said their name, I would have no idea who the fuck they are. Yeah. I just know that it's true. You know? Yeah. I know that they're there.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a woman I met the other day. She goes, "My daughter is," and said her name. I couldn't repeat it. I couldn't remember it. And I said, "Oh, okay." And she goes, "You don't know who that is, do you?" I said, "Not a clue." And she goes, "She's like the third biggest TikToker."
Okay.
And I was like, "Is that good?"
What's TikTok?
Yeah, like so she's famous on TikTok. Is that good? Like I didn't know where we were going with this conversation. So like, what's the life of a TikToker? You wake up every day, and go, "Oh my god, I gotta feed my fans. Let me just do something." And like, I guess that's a job for them. Yeah. So for some of these people, I understand. It's weird for us to understand it because we're old fucks. We don't get it.
And get up and work every day.
But some of them, I understand, are working and making real. They're putting their effort into some of the stuff. But some of these people aren't. Some of these people aren't.
Have you heard of the ASMR shit?
Yeah.
You know what that is?
Oh, yeah.
There's famous ASMR people, Bill.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean?
They're famous?
In their world, like in that world, yeah, they would have to be, right? People fucking subscribe and watch their shit. Like, I've seen it. I've scrolled past it, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Why are all these people watching it?
All right, so...
And they're fucking...
Yes. I always hear this. People like that? That's like people slurping their soup. You usually want them to shut the fuck up, but people are listening to people slurping their soup on the internet. Well, all right, so I have I got this thing that I do in my life. It's called SEO, search engine optimization. I'm one of the earliest people doing this, and now it's a concentration within marketing that everybody does. I'm on Twitter. I'm verified. I speak everywhere on it. Not so much anymore. 11,000 something followers on Twitter. Verified on Twitter. Am I famous?
You're famous in the SEO world.
I can't wrap my head around that. People are like, they don't do this anymore, but it's like, hey, would you sign this? I'm like, I'm not famous. Right. I'm like, Tom Cruise is famous. Stop treating me like I'm famous. It's weird.
In that world,
I'm famous.
You are famous.
Yeah. I'm not trying to keep that up anymore. It's a lot of work. Like, I really was like, all right, now I'm a thought leader. I got to think of all the shit that I've never thought of before. It's exhausting. I can't come up with anything. I think I'm tapped out. So I kind of walked away in the last couple of years from doing that because I'm tapped out. So if these guys are going to be famous on their YouTube, shit, man, we're constantly thinking about topics. Like, it's a lot of work.
Fuck yeah.
So I guess I get some of that. There's a lot of it I don't get.
I don't get any of it.
Like, why Paris Hilton was ever famous, I don't get. I've heard Kim Kardashian, because she falls into the same sort of conversation a lot. Like, she has no reason to be famous. Apparently, she's actually pretty brilliant. I don't know. People have said that they know like how she does business behind it. So maybe she is actually a good business person, but why did she get famous?
Right. But look, yeah, if you're that famous, like, yeah, that has nothing to do with my world or your world, Kim Kardashian. We know who she is. She obviously has done something right. Like, or someone in her camp has done something right for her. You know what I mean?
I guess she made a sex tape. That's how she got started. So that's the advice she has for everybody out there. You want to get famous? Have a sex tape. That's what we learned from her. Oh, no. Do what we got to do, Casey. Should we keep the camera on? I don't know, but you got a point. It's like, is it even worth trying to be famous? Is famous the George Clooney fame? Is it even worth trying anymore? It's just the internet broke everything over.
Dude, look, we have a new fan. This guy started watching our show from the very beginning because of one episode that he saw with Deborah Sue Voorhees.
So he's not a new fan.
Well, he found our episode with Debbie Sue Voorhees.
Yeah.
And then he liked our show, so he went back and started watching from the beginning.
Oh no!
And
you don't have to watch from the beginning. First 10 shows, you can skip them.
But like,
we were learning.
He's like, now I'm talking to the guy. Like we've sort of become friends, and like that is fucking cool to me that one of our listeners likes us that much that he wants to be friends with us. You know what I mean?
It's awesome. I know. I need to reframe my thought on this, but to me, it was like when I was coming up playing music, if you weren't Eddie Van Halen level, you didn't make it. You weren't famous. You weren't successful. I know, man.
Yeah.
Like, but these days, that's not how the world sees it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, everybody. Yeah, but it worries me. Like, I'm like, I don't want what I know in the way. I love the Hollywood culture. I love the business. I love everything about it. It's going to change. And it's not going to change. I don't think it's going to change in a way that I'll enjoy it as much.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Just try a movie during the day by yourself at the theater.
But I don't
go see The Northman.
I've got a great 80-inch TV downstairs and a full fucking surround Bose system. I have no reason. There's so much food and beer down there. Like, I have no reason to go to a theater.
It is pretty sweet.
But, all that stuff is getting cheaper. Everybody can have that now.
Yeah, I mean, we have. Let
me take that back before I get a negative letter. I know not everybody can have a high def TV, but I'm just saying it's becoming, much more.
Actually, we have we got it for Christmas, but I looked it up. It was only like maybe $150, $200, and it's an actual projector, an HD projector that you can plug any USB into. So you can plug your Chromecast or whatever into that, or
directly into it. Yeah,
your
cool.
Kindle, or not Kindle, Fire Stick.
Kindle. Are those things?
It's an Amazon product.
Okay.
You can put your Fire Stick into this projector, and anything that you get on your TV goes through the projector. Yeah. And you can put it on your white wall or screen or whatever. And it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I've seen. I got a buddy who's got a home theater. Oh, these wealthy-to-do people I know. And yeah, he's got a projector, and it's just like a movie theater. It's great. It looks perfect. So $80 for that?
No, it was like $150 to $200.
Why do I think he said 80?
I don't know.
Just made that number up.
Strong.
No. I'm not you. I'm not you. I don't think you're drunk at all. There's no way a human being of your size could get drunk on one beer.
No, I think it might have been that giant hit of weed that I took right before I made that statement.
You know what I hate about doing this with you, Casey, in person? Look at how widescreen our faces look wide. We look very chubby.
Yep.
Yeah, well, we'll never do this again.
Nope.
All right, so we've been talking for a while. To close it out, I got my last thing. I'm going to call this segment, "What the fuck are you into, Casey?" Let's talk about some things that we've been into lately. Let's share our interests with the audience.
Okay. Well, my life has been very hectic lately. Haven't really been into much other than trying to promote this show and our network. So I'll just promote our network here at the end and run down the shows. Mm-hmm. And we'll wrap it up.
Well, I want to tell you what I'm sharing.
Sure.
All right. So I do appreciate you doing all that work, because I don't.
Bill does a lot more than he leads on.
I've been into this YouTube show called Screen Crush. All right. So I love Marvel stuff. I love a lot of like that, all the stuff that comes out, superhero stuff, sci-fi stuff. I don't know how this fucking guy does it. All right. So this guy, damn it, I've seen the show so many times and I'm blanking on his name. I remember he's got a little dog named Doug.
Okay.
oh shit, I'm so sorry, man. I know you're not going to watch our show because you're a big YouTuber. But like he basically, he'll watch an episode of a show. I'm watching Moon Knight now. Brilliant show, by the way. It doesn't even have to be a superhero show. They can take the superhero out of that show and it's still fucking brilliant. And it's deep, right? And it's psychological and philosophical. But you don't know that watching these things from the outset. So I watch the show and then immediately I go to Screen Crush and I watch his breakdown of the episode. First off, I don't know how he got it done in like 3-4 hours, but he did. And he goes in and he's like, so this represents the scene from this movie, which is very, symbolic of this thing. And that's why they're trying. So you basically get a director's cut of these shows. And this guy's got so much insight into, well, this is based on the Maslow law of guiding principles to it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're the smartest man in the world. But he's showing the thought that goes into these Disney movies, into these superhero movies. And it is so much more than what it comes off as. This guy provides so much more value than the show itself does. And I'm thinking, is Disney aware of this guy? Guy's got tons of Screen Crush, telling you, subscribe to this guy. Disney should be paying this fucking guy money. Like, hey man, you are actually making our shit better. Because he's totally making it better. Ryan Airy is his name, Ryan Airy.
You see my wheel spinning?
Yeah, what are you thinking? With all that time you don't have.
How does he fucking know all of this?
He's into it. He's researching it. He's probably hanging out on forum boards and just talking to communities. And I just don't know how he does it in 3 fucking hours. Because when the show gets released at 6 a.m., by 10 a.m., I already see a video from the guy. And I'm like, how are you doing this? Maybe they're sneaking him releases and we don't know it.
Wait, so a show comes out.
Yeah.
3 hours later, there's a video of him telling you exactly how they did that show.
3 hours later, there's a 30-minute video breaking it down completely. Does it with Boba Fett, does it with it all. He's brilliant.
He's got an inside somewhere.
He's probably, at this point, he probably has so many viewers and he's making money that he probably hires other people to help. But I don't know where. I mean, it looks like a complete production done by him. I edit these fucking videos with you. I know how long it takes.
Yeah.
It takes me like an hour to just edit our shit. His stuff is way more complex than our shit, and he's getting it out super fast. Some of these YouTubers are impressive.
So as podcasters and interviewers, we get screeners for stuff. Like we've gotten screeners for stuff.
I know, but I don't think Disney's sending him a screener of the.
Is he? I mean, how popular is he?
I don't know honestly how popular he is, but they are so afraid to give something out. They're so afraid to give something out. I heard that the whole reason that the Batman came out what it did is because somebody had already leaked it. So they were like, "Hey, we got to." I'm sorry. When I say it came out on HBO Max.
Right.
I think I heard if it wasn't this movie, it's another one around the same time. But yeah, somebody leaked it, so they're like, quickly rush it to the streaming before people find out about the leak. Oof.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
so I don't think they're going to be giving him previews. They should, so we can do a better video and it sells the show better. Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy, man. YouTube world is crazy.
Yeah. I'll have to go back. I'll have to go and check that. I mean, how well are the videos done? Like, is there a lot of editing put into it and all that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, unless you have a production team, like we're doing this ourselves. Like everything that you see on this show, we do. So like it's not easy.
No. I export a video, it takes 4 hours. Yeah. Premiere is so I don't know how he's doing it. It's just incredible. And I'm finding more and more. There's a guy named Matt McBustles. It's like a funny YouTube name. He's got a show where he goes into, it's called What Happened? It's like about video games. When this video game came out, it was total shit. What happened? It's a whole documentary on a video game. Like Batman Returns from the Super Nintendo. This guy goes right into, here's where the production went wrong. The boss did this. He fucked this up. Then everybody left and went to it. So how do you know this? Yeah. What an incredible show. And now he's not putting that out 3 hours after an episode of Disney. But the show is great quality. I find myself so much more watching YouTube shows than watching anything on any other streaming network these days.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's interesting. I'll have to, what's his name again? Plug him one more time.
Yeah,
since he's not on our network.
Yeah, Screen Crush. Go to Screen Crush. Anytime you watch a Marvel thing or anything that we like, the geeky 80s stuff that comes out now, he'll have a video for it. Yeah, it's great. All right, so you're really not into anything but the den. Yeah. You're really not into anything but work.
I've been into work and, there's some health issues with my dad going on. So, yeah, things have been very hectic. And I'm into that beer. That was good. I'll tell you what, if I go past Hampton, Virginia again, I might swing by and get another few of those.
This is kind of like those milkshake. Actually, let me see the can.
Yeah, it's actually a New York style cheesecake orange creamsicle.
They put actual milk in some of these now.
This is
sour ale. I got it. Look, man, I fucking got it right.
Yeah,
sour ale with tangerine puree.
and look what's on the can.
Golden Oreos.
Yep.
Did they really make golden Oreos?
Yeah, they did. There's vanilla Oreos. Yeah.
Oh. I thought that was the supermarkets ripping them off.
I don't know if you can see that on the can, but there is an Oreo.
Oh, I
on
hope
the
we're in
can.
focus all the way out here. We'll see. We'll see in post. All right, go ahead. Well, let's close up and tell us about the shows, and we can finish this segment and the show all in one
Yeah.
deep breath, sir.
All right. So, The Den. It's called the Den.show, the Deluxe Edition Network. So, we were asked, we might have mentioned this before. I'll say it again. We were asked to take over a network, and people didn't want the changes that needed to be made for the network. So, they're not with us anymore. Let's just say that.
They're in heaven. Or hell.
So some of the old school shows that came over, it's actually the podcast of the month for April. I'm not sure when this show will be coming out, but The Rant with Herman James. It's Herman James, and it's just basically him, giving ranting. Yeah, he also has a YouTube channel. It's he does a lot of DIY stuff on there, stuff that you might need to know how to paint some numbers on your sidewalk or feed some wires to the ceiling. He shows you exactly how to do that stuff. So it's pretty cool.
His episode on storming the Capitol was pretty good.
Yeah.
Tell you how to do that. No, I'm kidding.
No, but he is. Yeah, he is a
Is he a character?
he's a character. All right. So next, we already mentioned Take on the World.
Yep.
They do a lot of beer reviews, and they do a lot of conspiracy stuff, and they'll take you inside the Eastern State Penitentiary. They've already done shows on the history of wrestling, stuff like that. Actually, Mike, the host of that, I met him yesterday up at the Leesport Farmers Market. If you go back on our YouTube channel and look for Zach Lee and Adam Tood versus Marshall Law and Love Bug, Marshall Law is Mike of Take on the World podcast. So check that out. It's him, John, and Mike's daughter, Lexi, sometimes. And then our podcast of the month for next month, for the month of May, is a new show. I think he has less than 10 episodes in. It's Organic Spaceship. And he's like a Berks County local show. He does a lot of interviews with local people from Berks County. He recently had Charlie Adams on, the ghost hunter. You're not from Berks County, so you don't know who Charlie Adams is. I live here now,
so I need to learn. Go ahead.
So Charlie Adams is a ghost hunter and wrote a lot of, I think they were called Ghost Stories of Berks. There was a big series of them as I was growing up as a kid. I remember him writing. So he recently had him on his show.
We're a big area for that with the what's called an Arkham Asylum, Penhurst Asylum near here, Gettysburg is near here. Yeah, we're a big ghost area.
Yeah, Eastern State Penitentiary down in Philly. So that's hosted by Josh Steingraber. You can find him on Instagram at JD Grabber. And then we have another new show. It's called Metalhead Journeys, and they were a part of Highly Judgmental. It's actually the same guys as Highly Judgmental. They just broke their show into two because Highly Judgmental is a sports-focused show. It's Robert Mock. I'm sorry, Robert. I've known you all these years over the internet. I don't know how to say your last name.
What an asshole. Robert, don't put up with this guy anymore. Didn't even learn your last name.
I'm sorry.
If the tables were turned, I wouldn't know anything. I'm terrible with names.
So he has a show called Metalhead Journeys where they're big metalheads. They will break down and review a lot of metal albums and the latest in metal news, metal music news and all that stuff. And then his show Highly Judgmental is all about sports. And he does you could cancel it. If you have ESPN, you could cancel it. Robert is doing a show basically every day of Highly Judgmental. and the sound, like sometimes he's doing it in his car on his way to work, but like the sound quality is really good. Like
really?
Like I'm not sure how he's doing it, but like you can tell that he loves sports that much that he's just has to get this news out there. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe he's holding his phone up with one hand and driving with the other hand, doing a whole podcast.
Let's hope not. So then our friend Joel Sharp, and the boys at the Red Horse Hair Salon, they have a podcast called Horsing Around, and that's all conspiracies, different stuff. Really great show. I love it.
Joel goes by Joel the hair surgeon. He's a celebrity in hair.
Yeah.
He is a legit. People adore him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I got to get used to that thought, but you can be famous. Maybe we'll be famous one day. We'll be celebrities for this shit.
Hopefully.
All right.
Hopefully. Yeah. Horsing Around. Joel Sharp. It's Jared Picone, Shane Anthony, Cisco, Sean, and Guapo. Yeah, this is one of my favorites on our. I hate to pick favorites on our network, but maybe it's because we get our hair cut there, and it's like you go in there and you're sort of like in a podcast with them, just the way that they shoot the shit around the shop, you know. So that's cool. I already mentioned Highly Judgmental. Definitely check them out. The sports show. We just added Flet Lives.
Clever name.
Yeah.
That's Fletch Lives. Play on that.
Yeah.
That's clever. That's funny.
So this is hosted by our buddy Kyle Curtis Flett up in Alberta, Canada. And this guy, man, he is constantly recording, and it's a lot of horror content. And he's been getting like some decent names as a new podcast. He has Naomi Grossman coming on. She's from American Horror Story. He has Clayton. I want to say his name is like Clayton Lancey. He's from one of the he's one from Nightmare on Elm Street. Clayton Lancey, I think his name is. I'm not sure. I was never a Friday the 13th, or I was never a Nightmare on Elm Street guy. But he has another girl coming on from the Scream movie, Nancy Ann Ritter, I believe her name is. He does horror news, movie reviews, and then interviews. And I think he also does game reviews too. And like he'll do like an unboxing of something too. Like he just got the Evil Dead collection, like the new movie collection that they came out with. He'll do like the unboxings of that and stuff.
You know, that game's coming out soon. You better play that game.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that game. So then we have Barrel Aged Flicks. This is hosted by Ron, Stu, Ragnar, Chase, and Lenny. They're one of our newer shows. And this is like, now we're starting to branch out, because this is the first show that we've brought onto the network of people that I've never met, or, well, I can't say that. I've never met like Robert Herman or the next podcast or Kyle, but I've known them on the internet. Like we've talked on the internet. These guys, I just started listening to randomly and messaged them, and I was like, hey, you guys want to be on the network? And they came on, and they're fucking great. They classic movies, liquor, and beer reviews. It's really funny. They're really funny. Like some of the stuff that they taste on the show, you could tell that they don't like. Like the other day, the one guy, like, I'm sorry I don't know all your names offhand, but the one guy they did a shot, and he was like, you could hear him. So like they're really funny. And then we have our buddy Ray, who we had on the show. He's a brand new podcast. Ray, he was the co-host of the 1980s Now, and then prior to that, it was the Idiots. He has 10 Cent Beer Night, and he's just going to. His description is funny. In each episode, the host attempts to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that his opinion on pop culture is the right one.
No, he's not gonna. Ray won't get it, because I got the right one. He can try, but he's got to ask me first. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, you are the end all be all of pop culture.
Now, we'll miss you on 80s Now, but I'm curious to see what you do on.
Yeah, he already has his first show out. Really good. Yeah, he's really good. Ray's a good dude.
All right. Well, this was fun. We can do more of these now.
Yeah.
Is the pandemic over? I think everyone says it is, but I don't think anybody formally declared it over. So,
dude, I finally did not have to wear a mask on the plane last week.
Oh, did they lift that?
They lifted it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Finally.
I still go around and go, I wonder if I'm going to need my mask. And I go, yeah, I don't think I have to do that anymore.
Nope.
All right.
I was in a place the other day and it was a small office and I was not wearing my mask. 2 older ladies came in, both with their mask on. They said, Are you supposed to wear your mask in here? I said, yeah, you're supposed to, but I'm done with it. And they were like,
really?
They both took their masks off. They were like, we are too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll put it on if I'm around older people who are wearing it. Just be courteous. But
Sure.
That's it. I don't want to wear it anymore.
Right. And one last thing before we wrap up here, our former guest, Gregory Scott Cummins, he has some things coming out. He's on a show called SWAT. I believe that's coming out May 8th. He's going to be the bad guy on that.
No shit.
Just one episode. Yeah. And then he's also, he was in that Bosch. Remember the Bosch show that he was on?
Yeah.
I think that was on Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime canceled it. IMDb Freezy picked it.
That's like the conversation I had with Bai Ling. No, it's not making any sense. You sound like me.
IMDb TV
IMDb has a TV channel?
is now Freezy.
Freezy.
I believe.
Freezy.
Don't quote me on this. Please look it up. Greg is on this news station, IMDb
TV, Freezy.
Freezy.
We got it. Not hard to say at all.
Picked up the show, but it is now called Bosch Legacy. Bosch Legacy. And that comes out May 4th. Like I said, not sure when this episode is going to air, but Bosch Legacy comes out May 4th. And you can see our friend Gregory Scott Cummins in that. And it's a continuation of Bosch. So if you ever watch Bosch, it's just a continuation. So
I was picking through a few random episodes of Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and he was on it. I was like, oh, shit, I didn't know. And he's so funny on that show. He really is so good on that show.
Yeah, he's so good, man. He you watch anything with him where he's the bad guy, he is a memorable character, you know? And then to meet him in person and to see how nice he is, it's like, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah,
you know?
You're best friends now. you guys seem to talk all the time. All right. Well, with that, let's wrap it up. I think we covered the plug. Did we cover it? We didn't do plugs. Let's do plugs. We got 30 seconds of plugs, and then we'll let you guys get back to your other fucking podcasts. All right.
Plugs. Facebook. We're at deluxeedition.com. We're on Facebook at our group, right? A classic pop culture podcast. We switched the name. We used to be Yet Another, but we are
all about keywords.
We are no longer another.
We're just Deluxe Edition
podcast.
Yeah, that tagline is it's only for rankings.
Twitter, Deluxe Edition Pod. Instagram, Deluxe Edition Pod. The Den.show. Please check out the other shows on our network. Bear Claw Kitchen. If you, I'm sure. I don't know if the Bear Claw Kitchen ad ever gets into the YouTube shows.
It doesn't.
So if you're watching on YouTube, check out our sponsor, Bear Claw Kitchen. The link is always in the description. But that granola, dude, I've been up and down the East Coast. I've been living on that shit. It's a great snack. It's so good. I've been living on Bear Claw Kitchen.
It's one of those things. There's a name for this thing when it happens. Like somebody starts mentioning something and now you hear it everywhere. You were always hearing it. You're just now tuning into it because you're familiar with it. So that's happening to me. Like I hear Bear Claw now all the time. Yeah. I'm like, oh, you like that too? I'm like, is this new? No, it's been around forever. I'm like, now that they're a sponsor, it's on my radar.
Yeah, and you're Amy tried it too. Your wife,
she
right?
loves it.
She loves it, right?
I'm not a big granola.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it, man. It's really good. And they have a ton of different stuff. They even sell like maple syrup and honey and all kinds of different stuff. Yeah, just check out their website and then use code Deluxe15 at checkout.
Why don't you get a sponsor that I like bacon grease. Like just a sponsor just as bacon grease. Like I love bacon grease. Just like a sponsor just sells lard. Wouldn't that be funny? Let's start getting sponsors that are so irrelevant from our audience.
I have a good. We'll as a joke, we will play a sponsor at the beginning of this show. you'll already have heard it by now. So, but it's funny. I have one recorded.
All right. Until next time, sir. Have good travel back. I don't know when you're going back, but this was fun. We haven't done this in a long time, so we'll do more.
Not one thing about the shirt, huh?
Oh, no. I mentioned the shirt.
All right.
I mentioned the shirt, didn't I, everyone?